Testing 1 2 test. We should be live here, folks. Should be live. Music. All right. Music is right there. All right. Yeah, fine. And we should have, wow, why is that so loud? That's very loud. Turn this down a little bit. Turn that down a little bit. Testing, testing. It seems like it's very loud. Oh boy. Yeah, go ahead. Testing, test, test, test. Testing 1 2. And this should be louder than it is. There we go, that's louder. And that should be loud enough now, folks. That should be loud enough. We'll see.
They give me a bio of her. They go, okay, read this. And then they read the bio of the user. She stands up and reads the same exact bio that I just read on it.
Oh, smokes. Turn this down to nothing. I'll turn this way down to nothing there. There we go. And we turn that down, then yeah, okay. Turn that down, turn that way down. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Test, test, test. Turn that up a little bit. We turn that one up a little bit. I guess, yeah. Okay, is that going to be too loud? Okay. And that one's pretty loud, and this one's pretty loud, I guess. Turn that mic up a little bit. Okay. See, you want to be able to hear yourself, yeah.
What are you, drunk?
Oh, there, that might help a little bit.
Oh, we have so many different heating. Is this the same headphones we use last year?
No. What's this I used last year?
Yeah, you use headphones.
Oh, you're right. It was the same. I did. Eventually I did.
No. He's got
yeah. Do whatever you want. I mean, we're probably going to share that. But I have a book, though.
These aren't downloads for, I got them as close as I can. We're dealing with two different.
Okay, which ones are what? What's your working?
You're all here like you did last year.
Okay, this is mine?
Yeah, get yourself dialed in.
Where's my mic?
Your mic is right here. Put that in first.
Both of these?
Yeah, that's what we did last year.
Okay.
Your mic is over here.
And then I had this on. And this doesn't matter which way?
Probably not.
Well, it says... probably not. You're probably right.
Okay, that's your mic volume, and that's your headphone volume, but when you turn your headphones up, you're turning his up. If
Okay.
his are too loud, he has a separate volume control he's got to turn down. I'll cue him up.
All right.
All right, so if you say his headphones are too loud, but you love yours, we'll worry about him later.
Okay, testing, 1 2, testing, 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 testing. It's very testing, 1 2, testing. That's a little bit better. Still very, very, very distorted. Hello, testing, 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 testing. Well, that's better, but now I'm really low. Testing, testing, test. Testing, test, test, test.
That's your mic.
Testing, 1 2. No, it's horrible. That's right. Why don't you put it on and listen? Why don't you? Testing, 1 2. Test, 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 test. Hello, testing. Welcome to Livermore. Blah 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 blah. That's not going off live, is it? Right now? On a live stream? No. Test, test, test. Is that going on live? North Korea beat the French team 4-2. And we just completed the second game of our tournament today, which was the Puerto Rican champions beating the Latin America regional champions from Venezuela 8-5. So again, welcome, Ed. Nice to have you with us here. Kind of a first thing for both of us in this hit it twice on the live stream. So hopefully it all goes well.
It sure will, Rick. I'm looking forward to today's game. The weather's beautiful. I think we've got temperatures around 91 degrees. The team from Central East Maui Little League is here again this year. They were the team that won last year, and we thought that possibly they had some leftovers, some carryovers from last year's team, but chatting with some of the parents, this is a brand new team. So this is an extraordinary event to have the Hawaii team here from the same league twice, 2 years in a row.
Absolutely. In fact, that team that won it here last year, I understand, is in a town called Mountain View, which is only about 20 or 30 miles from here. And if we're playing a Pony League tournament, and if we're fortunate, they may make a cameo appearance and pay us a visit out here. We'd all look forward to seeing them again.
That would be great. That the teams from Hawaii are traditionally quite strong, and we expect the same tonight, and we expect a good ball game. Any game that's a close game is a good game, and we expect this one to be just that.
All right, we're about ready to get going here. Well, sometimes. All right, so we've got our first batter coming up here, number 17. Keone Painter, the pitcher for Hawaii. And who we got on the mound here for the Florida team, Ed? Number 16?
Yes, Jordan Eggenberger.
That's right.
Pitcher tonight.
Yep. First pitch of the game is swung on and missed. Yeah, first pitch tonight. .422. Line foul to the left. The count is quickly 0-2 to Keone Painter. Strikeout looking for Painter. Brings up number 15, Mahoney Honokaupu, second baseman. First pitch is fouled off to the right side. So as I recall, last year, these were the two top seeds in the United States bracket. Last year, the Florida team won the opening game, and then Hawaii won in the United States finals to reach the championship game, which they ended up winning. And so I expect both these teams to be quite strong this year. So the count goes to 1-2 to Makani.
There's a bit of an overthrow by Eggenberger trying to get a little bit more mustard on the pitch. And sometimes when that happens, you lose a bit of control, which happened on that pitch.
It's a good pitch, good off-speed pitch. That's the second strikeout of the inning. It's going to bring out Bahiva Aloy, the shortstop, for his first plate appearance of the World Series. Away a little bit, so it counts now 2-0. You got to figure the very first inning, Ed, World Series, all the way across the country, a little bit. Are the butterflies going a little bit? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Butterflies probably on both teams. It'll take a couple batters and a couple plays on defense to get things straightened out.
So far, he's been pretty effective. Struck out the first two guys, and now he's gone to 3-0 to the number 3 hitter. It probably goes without saying that the key to success in beating the team from Hawaii is to keep them off the bases. And that's ball 4. It's going to bring the cleanup batter to the plate, number 22, Matthew Dene, first baseman. He's a big, powerful young guy. Big swing and a miss for a strike.
Yeah, Aloy over at first base is getting a nice initial lead and a very good secondary lead.
Yeah, you got to figure that they're going to test this catcher for Florida pretty quickly here. There he goes. And he's in there.
Eggenberger's high leg kick was a primary factor in that stolen base. Most pitchers, a lot of pitchers at this level, need to learn how to use a slide step in order to cut down the time it takes for them to release the ball again to the catcher.
For sure. It's a slow chopper up the third base line. He's got to make a quick throw. Safe. Beats it out. Great hustle by Dene. He really moved well for a big guy. And he beats out that base hit. So an infield hit for him. Aloy moves to third on the play. So Team Hawaii has first and third with 2 outs now. And all of a sudden, after striking out the first 2 batters, Eggenberger's got himself into a little bit of a stressful situation. That's going to bring to the plate Dylan Kokobun, the left fielder. As you see at every level, Ed, sometimes I'm not going to say it's a drop off, but there's a definite change to a pitcher once he gets into the stretch as opposed to the windup, and that might be what you're seeing a little bit here.
That's absolutely right. It's interesting all the way up to the major league level. You see that, and you hear professional commentators speak to that.
Yeah.
And with the first and third situation, you'd think that possibly the runner at first would go, but there's 2 outs, and he may not be the swiftest runner on the Hawaii team.
So now Eggenberger's gotten behind 3-0, I do believe, right? Is it 3-0? And time is called, and the coach is going to come out and have a little chat.
This is not a bad idea at all by the coach to bring all the kids together, to let them know, hey, this is just the first inning. We've got a long week ahead of us. We are going to get through this inning and get up and get our at-bats. It's only the first inning. Players sometimes tend to get a little concerned when they have given up. They haven't given up any runs yet, but if they give up a couple runs in the first inning, they get a bit concerned. But they've got to play 7 innings, and this game's going to go the full distance.
Yeah, and there's 2 outs. You know, there's 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning with no damage at all. So I agree with you. I think the coach made a good move there. He just wants to settle him down a little bit and not let this thing get out of hand too quick. So the count's 3-0 to Kokobun. Curious to see if he gets a green light here or the manager tells him to take a pitch. He swung away. So the count now is 3-1.
It's an indication of the aggressiveness of the Hawaii offense.
Sure, which they're famous for. A ground ball to first, bobbled, picked up, stepped on, and just like that, Eggenberger gets out of it. So Hawaii doesn't score. They get a hit, a walk, and leave 2 runners on it after a half inning, no score. So the starting pitcher for Hawaii is number 17, Keone Painter. As we return back to Livermore to see the bottom of the first inning and our first chance to see the Southeast Regional Champions from Florida bat. And leading off will be the shortstop, Drake Flowers. Keone Painter, the tall lefty Ed with a very high leg kick. Looks like he's a bit crafty. Haven't seen him throw any gas yet. Sure he's got some of that. There we go.
He looks like he can mix it up quite well. Very smooth.
I love his mechanics.
Yeah.
It's 1-2 on Flowers. Ground ball to second. That's eaten up easily. Thrown to first, and he's the first out of the inning. He's going to bring to the plate the left fielder, number 10, Ryan Potorera.
One thing that was notable there, the second baseman charged that play and made it quite easy. He probably charged a good 20 to 30 feet to make that a routine play rather than a difficult play.
Right. Quickly 0-2. Potorera didn't appear to like either pitch. Now he's got a battle. That's ball inside. Oh, strike three, sorry. So on 3 pitches, he's struck out. It's going to bring to the plate the pitcher, number 16, Jordan Eggenberger. Well, Painter's starting to settle in here quickly. It took him just a couple of pitches to shake off the jitters and get right into his routine. Ball misses, and it's 1-1.
He's showing a 12 to 13 mile an hour differential between his fastball and his curveball, which is exactly what you want to have.
So the count is 1-2. Eggenberger's worked him full as Florida tries to get their first base runner of the ball game. Ball 4, there it is. So he draws a walk, and that brings up to the plate the cleanup hitter, center fielder number 12, Jake Savory. At any time you can get the cleanup guy to the plate with anybody on. It doesn't matter if there's 2 outs or not. You're going to take that.
Absolutely. You want to get that cleanup man up there to be able to drive home some runs for you. That is his number 1 job.
Yep. Picked off. Eggenberger was caught flat-footed at first base, and that was a great move. And that ends the inning. So for the Southeast Regional Champions, they get no runs on no hits, no errors, and no one left on. We've played 1, In Livermore, no score. Back in a minute. Back at Max Bear in Livermore. Move to the top of the second inning, where number 18, David Lewis, is going to lead off. Jordan Eggenberger, after getting picked off first base, is right back on the mound. He's got to forget about that and get back to focusing on the task at hand, which is getting his team back in the dugout.
You know, Rick, I was watching him, Painter, while he was at first base. Excuse me.
Eggenberger.
Eggenberger was at first base, and I was noticing he wasn't getting much of a lead, but the move by Painter was so different. It caught him flat-footed, and even though he only had about a 3 to 4 foot lead, he was out by 2 feet, and it wasn't even close to first base. So, kudos for Keone Painter on the fine move at first.
And you got to believe that showing a good move like that is going to pay dividends throughout the rest of the game. I mean, there's going to be a lot of apprehension to get big leads on him at this point after what Florida just saw.
Absolutely. Leads will be cut a step or even a step and a half.
It missed inside. Now the count's 3-1 for the right fielder, David Lewis. So the count is now full. The 3-2 pitch on its way, and that's ball 4. So Eggenberger has walked his second batter. It's going to bring to the plate the catcher, Kelton Tom.
And Eggenberger's right back in the stretch once again. We'll see if Hawaii can capitalize on this inning.
Yeah, we'll see if it is actually having much of an effect on him. Moving from wind up to stretch. That doesn't always equate to that, but sometimes it does. Throw down to second. Here's the steal. Safe. So Hawaii doing what Hawaii does best. Gets on base and starts to put the pressure on.
I think Hawaii is going to keep running until the team from North Palm Beach proves that they can throw their runners out.
Right. Which, when you get down to it, should be the approach for every team in every game. Right, Ed?
Absolutely. And you might even see Hawaii bunt the runner over to third.
That's exactly what they were doing, and the ball got away, and so he advances anyways. So
it's a free 70 feet for Hawaii. In this kind of tournament, you have to eliminate or reduce greatly the free 70-foot advances on wild pitches and fastballs.
So now Hawaii has a runner at third base with nobody out. The count is 2-0. And there's a nice pitch on the outside corner, fastball for strike 1.
North Palm Beach is playing their second baseman shortstop back, so an infield ground ball will plate Hawaii their first run.
That's a ball outside. It's 3-1. You agree with that move? I mean, seems to be a tendency around all baseball to bring the infield in every time there's a runner at third base anymore, but
Well, you got to hope your offense is going to score at least one, if not more, runs in a game, and it's awful early. It's only the second inning.
that's ball 4. So back-to-back walks from Eggenberger. And Hawaii is in some business now. Number 21, Andrew Teruya, coming up.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't think we saw it the first inning if North Palm Beach has some sort of first and third defensive play that they put on in this situation.
There's a strike. The strikeout. It's going to bring to the plate number 1, Donnell Daniels.
Again, North Palm Beach is playing their shortstop and second baseman's back, so an infield ground ball through the middle should play to run for Hawaii.
There's a base hit over the shortstop's head into center field. That's going to probably get 2 runs home. The throw's coming all the way in. It gets through, advancing to second base on the hit as Daniels and Hawaii takes a 2-0 lead. Solid base hit by Daniels, Ed. That was crushed over the shortstop's head.
Yeah, that was textbook. Very nice hit. To get both runs home, actually the center fielder had a decent opportunity to throw the runner out at the plate, so he made a valiant effort, but in doing so, he overthrew his cutoff man and allowed the batter to reach second base. Again, another free 70 feet for Hawaii.
Looks like it might have a pitching change here from Florida. We're going to take a quick break and we'll back to you in a minute. back at Livermore, where Florida has made a pitching change, and now number 11, Drake Flowers, is now coming in to pitch. And that's going to bring the top of the order up for Hawaii. Number 17, Keone Painter. Painter struck out looking his first at bat. So we got one out with a runner at second base. That's Daniels, and Hawaii has gone up 2-0. And a swing and a miss by Painter. The count is 0-1. So the count is quickly 0-2 to Painter. There's one out in the second inning. Oh, nice piece of hitting to the left side. Here comes the runner at the plate. Safe. Painter takes second on the throw. That was very aggressive by the Hawaii coach at third base. Ball wasn't hit all that great to left field. Left fielder got a great jump on it, came up with a clean, fired home, and the runner just barely made it. So Hawaii is now up 3-0.
So Painter had 2 strikes on him on 2 fastballs, and so they decided to go in the 0-2 pitch with an off-speed pitch, and he kept his hands back and drilled the ball right over the shortstop's head for that run for Hawaii.
That's going to bring to the plate number 15, Makani Hanakaupu. Hanakaupu struck out swinging in the first inning. First pitch to him was a wild pitch, and now the runner Painter is over at third base with one out. Big swing and a miss. Strike one. Another fastball for a swing and a miss, and now the count is 1-2. Oh. Called strike 3. Hanakaupu strikes out again. Second time for him. Bahia Aloy is coming to the plate now. He walked, stole a base in the first inning, was stranded at third. Now there's 2 outs and a 3-0 Hawaii lead.
And even with 2 outs, the pitcher from North Palm Beach is going into the stretch to keep the runner as close to third as possible.
There's a swing and a miss. Ball gets away. Runner was thinking of advancing. Good job by the catcher to get back and get that quick.
And there's the reason they pitched from the stretch. If he was pitching from the windup, that may have been another run for Hawaii.
That's exactly right. It's a foul tip that gets away from the catcher. And the count now is 0-2 to Aloy, the shortstop. Looks like Flowers has some good velocity, Ed. He's throwing the ball pretty well. I know he's probably kicking himself for that off-speed pitch, though, on 0-2 to Painter before.
Yeah, he's throwing the ball a little bit harder than Eggenberger did, but you've got to throw the off-speed pitches, especially to a team like Hawaii. If you sit on your fastball, they're going to sit back on it, and they're going to crush it eventually.
Came sideways there and got him to pop up to the first baseman, who makes the play, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. However, Hawaii scores 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left at the end of 1.5. Central Maui Little League 3, North Palm Beach County Little League, nothing.
After 1.5 innings of play, it is Hawaii 3, Florida coming back. Folks, we'd like to recognize some of our local sponsors of this event. Livermore Area Recreation and Park District, 5-Star Networking, Stanford Health Systems, the City of Livermore, Yellow Days, Wilson Trophy, Livermore Fiji LLC, District Council 16, Great Work Company. Appreciate their sponsorship.
All right, back in Livermore. Hawaii just scored 3 runs. Now we reach the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Number 12, Jack Savory.
So Savory comes back up. He was at the plate, if you recall, when Eggenberger was picked off at first base, and now Florida's got themselves in a little bit of a hole.
The Florida team could be a little bit more selective. We'll see. They need to get a couple runners on base.
There's a strike on the inside corner, and that evens the count at 1-1. So the cleanup hitter, big Jake Savory, center fielder. Got him. Oh, that hit him. Hit him in a good spot, so he'll be at first base.
A tough way to get a base runner, but a good one. Here's some excellent sportsmanship by the pitcher, going over and shaking the runner's hand.
Yeah, you always like to see that. You see that in the major leagues all the time, don't you, Ed?
Absolutely. Just ask Madison Bumgarner.
That's going to bring to the plate number 5 hitter, Jake Bello, first baseman, for his first appearance at the plate in the World Series.
And just noticing Savory's lead at first base is pretty short. Probably the result of the pickoff last inning.
Ball gets away, and he will go to second base, however, so good hustle, good alert base running by Savory. Now the Florida team has something going with a runner at second base and nobody out.
So they've got a rally for free, a hit batter and a wild pitch.
Now we've got time called. Coach is going to go out and talk to the pitcher.
You know, Rick, I always like it at the Little League World Series. They have the coaches mic'd, and you can hear what they're saying to their pitchers and their infielders when they talk. And it's a lot of times incredibly inspirational that they're not down on the kids. They're just trying to get them to do the best they can.
Well, you got to believe that any coach that gets his team to this level has, he got him here by stressing positive attitudes. You would hope so, anyways. Fouled off. confidence in this game is about 90% of this thing. And you've got to be able to keep these kids confident in their abilities. However, there's times when they can get distracted. They're 13 years old, and I got a feeling the coach probably came out and said, you know, we need to focus on the batter a little bit more than the runner. There's another pitch that gets away from the catcher, and Savory's able to get down to third base, so now Painter's got himself in a little bit of a pickle here. The runner at third base and nobody out. Let's see if Florida can cash in. Ground ball up the middle, caught by the pitcher, and he looks back Savory and throws to first for the out. So good defense there by Painter.
That was an excellent play. Excellent play. He took his time, took a quick look at the runner at third, froze him there, and turned and had plenty of time to throw the batter out at first base. Very nice play by Painter.
So now Florida's got the runner at third base with one out. Let's bring him to the plate Raul Feliz, the right fielder, to see if he can get him in.
And unlike the Florida team, Hawaii is playing their infield in. Even with a 3-run lead in only the second inning, they're playing with their infield in.
Swing and a miss. Where do you think the mindset is with that, Ed? Why would you do that?
You know, Rick, I don't know, because I would not. I would play my infield back because I have a 3-run lead, and I know I'm going to score more runs this game.
There's a called strike, and the count's 1-2. It looks like the shortstop's kind of moved back a little bit. He's not as far in as he was a minute ago. Fouled off.
And they've got the 6th batter in the order up. This is an RBI man, so you'd think that they might want to put their shortstop and second baseman back a bit, but they're up. Actually, the shortstop's about halfway.
Right. Ooh, that got him. So there's another hit batter, the second one of the inning. So Feliz is down at first base. I got him on the elbow, I think, or in the wrist. Seems to be okay. And that's going to bring to the plate number 13, the third baseman, Max Joy.
Again, Painter got the attention of the runner first base and give him a little wave to say, hey, no harm intended. Very good sportsmanship.
So now the Hawaii infield has backed up. They're playing for a double play, it looks like, at this point.
And the shortstop and second baseman are in a couple steps and pinched a bit towards second base to try to pull off that double play.
Strike on the outside corner.
And checking out the outfield, they're playing fairly deep. This is the number 7 hitter in the order, so it's a bit surprising that they're playing the outfielders so deep at this point.
Especially right field. He seems to be way back.
And there's a slight breeze coming in, maybe from right field, but not that great. But still, you're right, Rick. Right fielders playing fairly deep.
Swing and a miss. And that takes the count to 0-2. So Joy is in a spot here where he really wants to make contact. He's got to choke up. That ball gets away, and here comes the runner from third base, and he's going to score. So truly a gift run for Florida. They'll take it, and they're now trailing 3-1. On the play, Feliz moves to second base, so
it's the little things like that, Rick, that will cost teams runs and eventually games. So Hawaii's got to tighten it up a little bit and see what they can do to keep that runner at second base from advancing.
Fouled off. I'll tell you what, Max Joy gets some good cuts up there. He's capable of hitting those outfielders.
He's not getting cheated. Even with him being behind in the count, he's still taking some good hacks.
Maybe the Hawaii team knows something we don't know. So again, the count's 1-2, and there's one out. Joyce swings and misses. The ball gets away. Throw down to first base. He's out. Runner advances to third. So now there's 2 outs in the inning, but Florida has a runner at third base. Seen quite a few pass balls, wild pitches in this game already from both sides, Ed. I got to just believe that a lot of this is just jitters.
It very well could be, even though it's the second inning and almost into the third. It takes some time to settle in, being this far from home for both teams.
Yeah, that brings to the plate for the first time in the World Series, number 9, Joey Urban. So Urban's in a situation here where a base hit with 2 outs would score another run and would be huge for Florida.
And checking the outfields once again, this is the number 8 hitter, and they're playing deep. They continue to play batters deep, not allowing them to hit the ball over their head, but balls could be hit right in front of them. And batters in the lower part of the order, there's a better chance that the ball will be hit in front of them rather than over their head.
Well, I know, Ed, you and I have battled many times in Little League Baseball on opposing teams and all-star events locally and such like this, and I always marveled at how you and Wayne Chung would set up your outfield, and I know that you always used to put a lot of effort and thought into that. And it was difficult to beat those teams of yours.
Well, thanks, Rick. Actually, my theory was always that probably 80 to 90% of the balls are going to be hit in front of us rather than over our heads in the outfield. So I tended to keep all of my outfielders shallow until the other team proved that they would hit the ball or could hit the ball over our heads.
That's right.
If someone hits a ball over the fence or off the fence, congratulations. It's the little shots in front of you that drive you nuts.
Yep. That's fouled off, and the count remains 3-2. Joey Urban's got a battle on his hands. So he's choked up a little bit, and he's looking to make some contact here and get the ball through the infield and plate a second run for Team Florida. And does just that. Right up the middle, base hit. What a huge hit for Parkland, Florida with 2 outs. That was a shot right up the middle. It was an off-speed pitch by Painter.
Again, a two strike off-speed pitch by Painter, that on a full count. But the batter kept his hands back and drilled the ball up to the right center area, and now we've got a 3-2 game.
So Florida has really taken advantage of what they were given this inning. They've had 2 hit batters. Both of them have scored in the inning. That brings to the plate Josh Hogue.
And Rick, good teams will capitalize on the other team's mistakes.
Yeah, and every team in this tournament is a good team. And that's not to say that every team is always going to capitalize on those 2-out situations, but when you look at statistics, often they do. Urban was running on that pitch, and Hogue fouled it off, so the count now is 1-2. And Florida sensing a little momentum shifting towards their way. They're being aggressive on the bases, which is good. Let's see if he goes here. Throw over. Strike 3 called, and that's going to end the inning. However, Florida comes back with 2 runs of their own. 2 runs on 1 hit. No errors and 1 runner left on at the end of 2 complete. Hawaii 3, Florida 2. Back in a minute.
Leading off the top of the third inning for Hawaii, number 22, Matthew Dene.
We're back in Livermore for the top of the third inning, and leading off for Hawaii is number 22, Matthew Dene. Dene hit a slow roller to the left side of the infield for a base hit, his first at bat. Line foul. That just went foul.
You know, Rick, I know the people from Hawaii are waiting, and me too, for this young man to get a hold of a pitch. I don't think, I know this park won't hold it, and I don't think the trees will be able to hold it. He's a very good-sized young man.
I recall Team Hawaii had a similar player last year that would bat, and the third base, they were substituting between the third baseman, Tiger Colford. I remember the third baseman's name. I believe the batter's name was Dylan, but he peppered that wall last year. So the count's 2-2 to Dene. Grounded to third hard, picked up, thrown to first, and that's the first out of the inning. Nice play by the third baseman over there for Florida.
Number 9, Joey Irvin.
That's going to bring to the plate number 9, Dylan Kokobon.
That's number 9, Dylan Kokoban.
The ball outside. Kokobon grounded out 3 unassisted his first time up. That ended the inning in the first inning. That's a shot to center field, past him all the way to the wall. That's going to be a stand-up double at least. Yep, stand-up double for Kokobon, who just drove it. Nice piece of hitting.
After that first pitch curveball, he sat back and waited for the fastball. At this level, it's unusual for a pitcher to throw 2 off-speed pitches to begin an at-bat. So he sat back, found the fastball, and drilled it to the fence. Nice piece of hitting.
So now Hawaii has a runner at second base with 1 out, and Davin Lewis is back up to the plate. He walked his first time up and scored on the hit by Daniels. It's a ground ball to short, throw to first, it's out at first. And Kokobon moves over to third base on the play, so now there's 2 outs, and Kelton Tom is coming to the plate. It looks like we're going to get a pinch hitter. So coming into the game to hit now is number 10, Jake Cantero.
Entering the game at batting number 5, number 10, Jake Cantero.
Each team has 14 ball players, and the minimum play rule for a team with 14 ball players is each player must bat at least once during the game.
It's fouled off to the right. Oh, here comes the runner from third, and he stands up scoring. So another wild pitch produces a run. Both teams have had a few of these. And so Kokobon scores. And the lead is now 4-2 for Hawaii. There's a pitch for a strike.
Flowers is having some difficulty locating his off-speed pitch, his curveball. And the difficulty there is if you depend on your fastball, you'll end up just throwing batting practice to the other team. And you do not want to do that to Hawaii.
Takes the count to 2-1. It wasn't 2-1, it was 3-2. And that's a strikeout. So Quintero goes out on strikes. Hawaii scores a run on a double. And going into the bottom of the third inning, Hawaii leads Florida 4-2.
After 2.5 innings of play, Hawaii 4, Florida 2.
back in Livermore. Pitchers up for Team Florida in the bottom of the third inning, trailing 4-2. It's Drake Flowers, leadoff hitter. Grounded out to second base his first time up. So Painter on the mound right now, Ed, is going to try to do what he was unable to do in the last inning, and that's throw a shutdown inning for Hawaii.
That's true. He's coming up on the 50 pitch.
There's a drive into the gap in left center field. Center fielder cuts it off, but he was so deep when he did. That's a stand-up double for Drake Flowers, and he's showing a little emotion out there at second base. A nice piece of hitting.
As I was mentioning, the pitch count for Hawaii is getting to the 50 pitch threshold. At 50 pitches, the pitcher needs to have 2 days off between pitching assignments. So this may be, they may make a change now, or they may make the change after this next batter.
Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter for Palm Beach County.
Now entering the game for Florida. And batting, number 19, Nicky Espinosa.
So Nicky Espinosa's coming in to hit in the 2-hole for Federero.
His job is to get a ground ball to the right side to get his base runner to third base with nobody out.
That's for sure. He hits a little looper into left field. It's going to be a tough play. He makes the catch, throws to second. Nope. Nice play by the left fielder. And that's the first out of the inning.
Now batting, number 3, Sean Brown.
That's going to bring to the plate for the first time today, number 3, Sean Raff. Raff came in and replaced Eggenberger when Eggenberger left the game as a pitcher last inning. So he sees his first plate appearance of the World Series and fouls the first pitch off. Pickoff to second base. Oh, great move, almost got him.
What made that play almost a success was the quick feet of the pitcher. That was an excellent move to second base.
Swing and a miss by Raff. Chased a high fastball out of the zone, and that takes the count to 0-2. Snap throw down to second base by the catcher. Flowers gets back easily.
The team from North Palm Beach is learning you need to keep yourself on your toes when you're on the bases against Hawaii.
Base hit over the second baseman's head. That's going to score the third run of the game for Florida. Nice piece of hitting by Sean Raff. He had 2 strikes on him, stayed with the pitch and drove it over the second baseman's head. So that cuts the deficit in half and brings Florida to within 1 run. Time is out, and Hawaii is making a change. It looks like they're going to make a pitching change. That's going to bring onto the mound number 8, Zachary Pasquale. And we'll be back after this commercial break.
Now pitching for the high eight. Number 17 goes to center field. Number 1 goes to right field. Number 18 goes to third base.
You got defensive changes? You got all defensive changes? He's only got one sub. He's going in 8 for 21. Okay? One more.
All right, back in Livermore. Hawaii has just made a pitching change.
This being a team from Hawaii, traditionally they have usually come with several high-quality pitchers. So I don't think there'll be any sort of drop-off from Painter to the new pitcher, Zachary Pasquale.
At the plate for Florida's Jake Savory, the center fielder, was hit by a pitch in the second inning and scored the first run for Florida. It's fouled off at the plate, so the count's 1-2. Well, Florida's got a runner at first base with 1 out. They've scored already in the inning.
Well, Rick, it'll be interesting to see in this 3-2 pitch with 1 out whether or not the Palm Beach team sends their runner at first base.
But a series of signs going on from the third base coach. There he goes. That ball's inside. That's ball 4. So Savory draws a walk. He's on base for the second time in this game. That's going to bring to the plate number 8, Jack Bello.
Now batting number 8, Jack Bello.
Bello grounded back to the pitcher his first time up in the second inning. But Florida has runners at first and second now with 1 out. pitch from Pasquale to get ahead 0-1 on that.
And the Hawaii first baseman is playing behind the runner, knowing that the runner really has nowhere to go with the runner also at second base.
Fouled off to the right side. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Ball. Little looper over second base. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Here comes the runner from second base, and we got a tie ball game now. 4-4.
Boy, Sean Rapp had an excellent read on that ball. As soon as it was hit, he took off from second base and scored easily. Instead of waiting to see if the center fielder would catch the ball, he noticed it was going to drop. An excellent read and an excellent piece of base running by Sean Rapp. And we have a brand new ball game, 4-4.
Alex, we get a special pinch runner. Billy Reed's going to come in and run for Bello.
All right, first base, Jack Bello. Number 1, Billy Reed.
And that's going to bring to the plate Raul Feliz. Feliz was hit with a pitch in the second inning and scored the second run for Florida. I was just got a 1-2 count on Feliz, a foul ball.
That would have been definite problems for Hawaii had it stayed fair.
Well, that would have scored a run, at least one, depending on Billy Reed's speed at first base, and I've got to imagine that he's got a little bit of it.
And again, the Hawaii outfielders are playing so deep,
Yeah.
that would have been trouble. I was just about to say, if you're Raul Feliz, you're probably sitting back and waiting for a fastball.
Yeah, Feliz is battling. We've seen a couple of situations already in this game where 2 strikes on a Florida hitter, they choke up a little bit and drive the ball. So he's choked up a bit. It's a ball. And you know, Ed, that's just a testament to pretty good coaching.
Absolutely. This young man is very patient. He's looking dead red for a fastball right now.
He's got the count full, so he's battled him to a full count, and we'll see what happens here. It's ball 4. So great at bat by Feliz.
In these types of tournaments where the pitch count is so important, any at bat when your batter can use 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pitches is enormous. And that's what Raul Feliz just did.
Well, we have a timeout as Hawaii coach goes out and talks to Pasquale.
Now North Palm Beach is in real good shape with the bases loaded, 1 out.
It's going to bring to the plate Max Joy. Joy struck out swinging in his first inning. Excuse me, second inning, his first at bat.
Now batting for Florida, number 13, Max Joy.
He's wearing lucky number 13. Let's see what happens.
Big swing and a miss by Joy.
That's the kind of swing you want on the first strike. Don't hold back, give it everything you got.
Well, that might be the best pitch he sees the whole at bat, so definitely want to go after that.
Absolutely.
So Florida in a position right now to put a little heat on Hawaii. Hawaii's infield is playing for the double play.
A little backdoor play at first base by Hawaii to see if the runner was keeping his eyes on the play, and the coach as well.
Ground ball foul. I'm a little surprised Hawaii is not bringing the infield in, considering they did it early in the game when they were ahead 1-0. Figured that they would want to cut down that run at the plate. Maybe they feel like they could still get a force out on a ball hit in the middle of the infield at the plate.
Boy, that one almost hit him. Yeah, you're right, Rick. It's interesting to see what they're doing. Also, the shortstop and second baseman are fairly wide from second base, and it would be pretty difficult to pull a double play with them being so far from the base.
The ball gets away. Here comes the runner from third. Safe, scores. Yet another run scores on a pass ball wild pitch. We've had 9 runs scored in this game, and I've got to guess that we've probably had at least half of them score in that fashion. So that gives Florida the first lead of the night for them, and they're up now 5-4.
And you've got to bet that the other teams and coaches are here watching this game and taking this all in to try to find the weak points on both of these teams should they play them in the week ahead.
Well, there's a call to strike 3. And Joy goes down for the second time in this game, this time called. So now there's 2 outs, and that's going to bring to the plate number 9, Joey Urban. Urban singled his last time up and drove in a run back in the second inning, and it looks like, are we getting a pitching change? It looks like we are. We'll be back in a minute. We'll go over the change. back in Livermore. We're Team Hawaii.
After 3 full innings of play, it's Hawaii 4, Florida 5.
Testing, testing.
Check the scoreboard. Defense changes. Defense changes? You want them as much? No, they do. Come on, Trey, give me one. Active board number 13 is going to the main reserves.
Testing. Testing, 1, 2.
Keep going. Backfield.
You can hear me. I can't hear me.
Number 7 is going from right to left hand side. And number 10 is going from Go guys. Go down. That's it. Let's go.
Live from Livermore.
All right, back in Livermore, a little technical difficulties. The top of the 4th inning.
Leading off the top of the 4th inning for Hawaii. Number 8, Zachary Pasquale.
Zachary Pasquale is going to lead it off for Hawaii in the top of the 4th inning. On the right field line, foul.
Interesting to see what happens this inning with the pitching for North Palm Beach, with Flowers approaching the 35 pitch plateau. First of all, he's pitching quite well. Second of all, it's a very close game. And third, we don't know how deep the pitching is for the North Palm Beach team at this point.
Well, I had a chance to spend a little bit of time with the team Friday when they got into the hotel. Talked to the coaches and the players, and I can tell you that they're pretty deep pitching-wise. Striker that counts 2-2. So again, we're in the top of the 4th inning with nobody on, no outs, and Florida leading 5-4. It's a ground ball to second base. Takes a bad hop, and Pasquale reaches first base, so Hawaii might have something going here. That's going to bring to the plate Donnell Daniels. Daniels, if you recall,
Number 1, Donnell Daniels.
had a base hit in the 2nd inning and had 2 RBIs.
getting a nice aggressive lead at first base from Pasquale. Bunt attempt by Daniels is fouled off.
We'll see if Pasquale might be thinking about stealing a base, and Flowers apparently feels the same way, has checked him over there at first. Throws over again.
One thing that young ball players sometimes have a hard time grasping is the fact that when you're bunting, you need to bunt only pitches that are strikes. Don't bunt at balls because you're just helping the pitcher to get yourself out.
There was the bunt attempt and the snap throw down to first base.
As Daniels did right there in the high pitch, he pulled the bat back wisely.
He attempted to bunt again. The ball bounced out of the catcher's glove, and Pasquale was able to advance on the play. So now we have a runner at second base, Hawaii does, with nobody out. And the count is 2-1 to Daniels. Bunts again. That's a great bunt on the third base line. It's going to be tough to get him. Got him. Great play by Flowers. I didn't think he had any chance to get him, Ed.
Well, that was a great bunt and an incredibly good play by the pitcher to not only pick the ball up, but turn and set up straight to first base and make a nice throw to first. But it does move the runner to third base, who's only 70 feet away from tying the game up.
And less than 2 outs is the key. So that's going to bring the top of the order up. And that's going to bring Keone Painter to the plate. Painter has struck out looking and singled. And he's knocked in 1 run today. Big swing and a miss, strike 1.
He looks like he's up here to hit. There's no signs coming from the third base coach at this point.
There's a ball outside that evens the count at 1.
And the runner at third base is using very good running skills. He's taking his lead in foul territory, and then when he retreats to third base on the pitch, he's going back in fair territory.
Another big cut. Swings right through it. Got a tip of that one, however, and it's 1-2. So Painter needs to show a little discipline here, maybe shorten the stroke up, choke up a little bit, make some contact. Florida team is conceding a run as they're playing their infield back. It's fouled off.
Yeah, Rick, it's interesting looking at the different philosophies of the infield in and infield back. Even as you pointed out with Hawaii early in the game, they had the infield in, and middle of the game they leave the infield back. At this point, the team from North Palm Beach has left the infield back.
I think that just goes to coaching philosophies, how they feel that their team has possibly handled previous situations where they've either brought the infield in or what have you, and it may not have been successful. So you start to get the idea that you don't want to do that sometimes. Swing and a miss. Painter goes down. That's a huge out for Flowers. That's the second out of the inning.
And at that point, North Palm Beach was agreeing to give up a run just to get an out and to keep the game would still be tied. And it turned out very good in there for them, rather, with the strikeout.
That's going to bring to the plate number 15, Makani Mahakapuku. Makani Hunukupu. Kapu. Unuku Apu. Always stumble over a few of these words, these names during the game. That's number one on me. So now there's 2 outs, a runner at third base. Flowers is pitch away from getting out of this inning unscathed. Fouled off to the left side. And the count is now 1-2.
Honokaupu is putting up a nice battle here. Doing his best to get that tying run to the plate.
One-two pitch misses just outside. That takes it to 2-2. Hanakaupu looked like he was trying to call time there. The umpire wouldn't give it to him. Now deuces are wild in this one. And the 2-2 coming. A ground ball up the middle to the second baseman. Drops it. During the exchange, throw to first base. It came out of his glove. And that's the second error of the game. Second baseman for Florida, and allows the tying run to score. That was a big one. Actually the second error of the inning.
What caused that not only was the velocity of the ground ball, but Hanakaupu hustled down to first base and made the second baseman move a little quicker than he wanted to, and the ball popped out of his glove.
Hanakaupu was running on the pitch. Ball's fouled off, and so he'll return back to first base. So Hawaii really caught a break there. Feel for Flowers there in a sense. He got the ground ball he wanted to. That was going to end the inning with no runs scored. He's got to bear down now and battle back, pick his teammate up. Hanakaupu steals second base, however, and so now Hawaii has another runner in scoring position. There's 2 outs. Count is 1-1. Foul ball down the right side, out of play.
Flowers is doing a nice job of focusing on the batter. Regardless of where your base runners are, he's got 2 outs, and all he needs to do is focus on getting this batter out, and that runner on second's not going to score.
Fouled off again to the right side. You know, that's a lot easier said than done at the 13-year-old level, to ask your pitcher to channel their focus. When they can do it, they're effective.
Absolutely. It's a combination of their level of maturity, which is all over the board at this age level, and their coaching, if they've been taught to focus.
Runner goes to third. That's hit down the line, right side, and that's a foul ball. So Hanakopu is being quite aggressive on the bases. And the batter, Aloy, is putting up a battle as well. Oh, they've got him picked off at second base. Throw goes down to third. Run back towards second. Runs back towards third and throws it away and gets him. Nice. Good job, Jake Flowers. Your height helped you there. That's going to end the inning. However, Hawaii scores 1 run on no hits, 2 errors, and nobody left on. The end of 3.5. 5-5. Back in a minute.
We have a winning ticket for the 50-50 raffle, folks. It is a pink ticket. It is worth $138 to the holder of that ticket. The number is 619076. 619076. $138. Take your ticket to the pin booth, present it to them, and you pick up your $138.
Change it, coach. 17 for 2. One more.
All right, back in Livermore for the bottom of the 4th inning and a 5-5 tie. Florida's going to send up
Leading off the bottom of the 4th inning for Florida, number 17, Max Irolino.
number 17, Max Ervelino's coming up for the first time in this game. Quickly 0-2. Nice shot into the gap in right center. Ervelino's going for 2. There's going to be a play at second. Safe at second base. Good slide, good hustle.
Rick, I was just about to say that Ervelino is doing one of the toughest jobs in baseball, and that's coming up to pinch hit after sitting on the bench for 3.5 innings. And what does he do? He lines a double to right center field. That's an excellent job of hitting.
Forgot to note that Dylan Kokoban is now the pitcher for Hawaii, left-hander. That's bringing to the plate Drake Flowers. Flowers doubled his last time up and scored in the 3rd inning.
This is a potential big lift for North Palm Beach with their number 9 man coming in with the double and bringing up the leadoff man, potentially drive him home.
Yeah, this is a spot they need to take advantage of. There's a slow breaking ball that catches the outside corner for a strike. Count is 0-1. Same pitch, but misses outside for a ball, and the count is now 1-1 to Flowers. So number 2, Josh Haig, is now re-entering for Urvalino at second base.
Number 2, Josh Hogue.
Probably putting a little bit more speed out in the base paths. Again, Flowers' job here is to hit the ball to the right side to get his base runner over to third base.
And that's the way Kokobun's pitching him, so, you know, he could go that way.
Yep, to this point, everything's been outside, outside, outside.
And soft. So Flowers chokes up on the bat on the 1-2 count now. Looks at a ball that goes outside as well. The count is 2-2. In Tom Glavin's era, that would have been called a strike, Ed.
Absolutely. Or if Eric Gregg was the umpire.
His fastball misses up, and the count is now full, 3-2. So Drake's looking for a pitch to hit here. Kokobun doesn't want to walk him, and he does just that, though. So now we have runners at first and second and nobody out. That's going to bring to the plate Nicky Espinosa.
And with runners on first and second and the number 3, 4, and 5 batters coming up, good chance we'll see a bunt here.
I don't know.
Number 19, Nicky Espinosa.
Espinosa might be considered a bit of much of a power guy to do that. We'll see, though. It's possible. He looks like he wants to bunt, though. Ed, what do you think? Oh.
I think he's just lining the pitcher up. Again, Hawaii is playing behind the runner at first base. Infield looking to turn 2. And again, a steady diet of slow, off-speed pitches towards the outside of the plate.
Yeah, this is quite a contrast to the previous 2 Hawaii pitchers, and that's, I'm sure, lending to the manager's strategy to get these kids off balance a little bit with a lot of slow stuff. Kokobun wants to try to dial in his accuracy a little bit, though.
And even Kokobun's fastball is about 10 miles an hour slower than the other pitchers that the North Palm Beach team has seen.
That's a good pitch. That hits the outside corner, and it's now 2-2.
I'm not a betting man, but I bet we see that same pitch right now.
You got a little bit much of the plate on that, and that's a grounded foul to the left side. I agree. That's Kokobun's specialty, it looks like, is just painting the outside corner with soft breaking balls.
And you can see how much Espinosa was ahead of that pitch.
So the 2-2 pitch is on its way. That ball's hit deep to left field. Looks like it's going to be tracked down by the left fielder. He makes the catch. Runner at second is tagging, and he advances. So Hawaii appeals to second base that the runner left too soon, and he is actually called out.
He absolutely left too soon, Rick. He was a good 4 to 5 feet off the base when the ball was caught, and he never went back to tag up. Fairly easy call for the second base umpire. Sort of curious as to why the manager is wanting an explanation on the call.
I think he just wanted it clarified.
Or he wanted some TV time.
That's right. So that's a huge momentum breaker in this inning for Florida. Now they have sort of first and second and nobody out. Now they're at first base with 2 outs. And that's going to bring Jordan Eggenberger back up to the plate.
And Coco Bun lost his composure there and allowed the base runner to steal second by winding up.
So Florida's got a runner at second base now with 2 outs. Count is now 0-2 to Eggenberger.
And one strategy that the North Palm Beach batters can use to offset this slow pitching is to move as close to the pitchers they can in the batter's box and get that pitch to the plate quicker.
Which it looks like Eggenberger has employed. Ground ball to third. Foul ball. Close play, but that was foul.
It got everyone here excited on the Hawaii side, thinking they had gotten out of the inning. But that was clearly foul.
So the count remains 0-2. Flowers leading off second base. Ball in the dirt, gets away from the catcher. And Flowers advances to third base.
Boy, Kelton Tom did everything he could to keep that ball in front of him. And even so, the runner at second base got such a good jump, he took third easily.
So Kokobon needs to focus on the batter here and end this inning, which he does on a strikeout. So for the first time in a while, we don't have a run scored in an inning. And after 4 complete, it remains 5-5 in a tie. Back in a minute. back in Livermore for the top of the 5th inning, and leading off for Hawaii, Wahiha Aloy. Aloy hits one to shortstop, throws over to first, and got him. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Boy, coaches love that. Beginning of an inning, you've just been shut down, and the pitcher comes out. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Greg Flowers is saying thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Coming into bat for the first time today for Matthew Dene is number 20,
Now entering the game and batting
McKay Pali.
for Hawaii, number 20, McKay Ali.
An interesting strategy by the coaching staff from Hawaii, removing their number 4 hitter for a pinch hitter at this point in the game, in the top of the 5th inning.
Nice pitch by Flowers. This strike swinging. Count is 0-1. Flowers is up to 55 pitches. He's done a good job in this game. A little unlucky last inning with a couple of miscues by the infield, and that allowed a run to score. But he's been pretty solid. He's done what he was supposed to do, keep the team in the game.
Every pitcher's number 1 chore is to give his team a chance to win, and Flowers is absolutely doing that.
It's nice. I like how he drops down on some of the 0-2 pitches and kind of gives a different arm angle to the batter. It's effective. The count is 0-2 to Pali.
Well, as they always say, hitting is nothing but timing, and pitching is nothing but messing up that timing. And you do that with speed, change of speed, and change of location.
It's directly over the top with that delivery. And Pali has himself a little battle on his hands. The 0-2 offering popped up, shallow left field. Shortstop looks like he's going out to take it. Circles under it, and it drops. Ball just ate up the shortstop. And Hawaii gets a gift runner. It's the 3rd error of the game for Florida.
Yeah, Rick, he looked like he was in trouble as soon as he went back. I thought possibly the left fielder, because of the height of the pop-up, was going to be able to come in and take that pop-up, but the shortstop went out, apparently tried to take control, but then he made a couple of turns, and it looked like he was definitely in trouble, and he was. Unfortunately, the ball fell to the ground.
So a timeout as the coach for Florida goes out and talks to his boys and tries to settle them down a little bit. Don't think he's making a pitching change here.
This is very similar to what he did in the 1st inning when things were getting a little bit uppity. They went out and talked to the pitcher, and things calmed down very quickly. We'll see how this visit to the mound affects the team.
That brings to the plate number 9, Dylan Kokobon. Kokobon doubled his last at bat in the 3rd inning. He hits a ground ball through the hole in short. for his second hit of the game, and now Hawaii has runners at first and second with one out.
Boy, that was a real nice piece of hitting. Just took that ball over the middle of the plate and laced it to the right of the shortstop, who was shaded over to second base looking for the double play ground ball.
Coco Bun's a pretty good hitter. So he's got 2 hits in the game, and that brings to the plate number 18, Davin Lewis. Lewis walked and scored in the second inning. So Flowers needs to bear down here. Fouled off to the right.
Boy, that first out of the inning looms large here. Without that, it would be first and second and nobody out, and Hawaii would be in the driver's seat. With one out, they are looking for a base hit, not just to move the runners forward, but they're looking for a base hit to untie this ball game.
Great pitch by Flowers there. Fastball in the inside corner. The count is now 0-2.
Might not be a bad idea to throw that same pitch, but elevate it about 6 more inches.
Great call. Wouldn't go after it though.
Good job. Very nice job by the batter not to go after that pitch. Those pitches look so inviting up near the shoulder area, but they're very, very hard to hit.
Got him. Ended up going upstairs again, and that time he did go after it. So that's a big strikeout for Flowers. That's a second out of the inning. It's going to bring to the plate the catcher, Kelton Tom. Tom walked and scored in the second inning.
Here we are again with a 2-out situation with a couple runners on. The pitcher should just focus on the batter and not worry about the base runners at this point.
Lined over the first baseman's head into right field. That's going to score 1 run. They got him out at second base, and he's out at second, trying to advance. But Hawaii does score the go-ahead run. They lead 6-5 going into the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll be back in a moment.
After 4.5 minutes of play, Hawaii 6, Florida 5.
Back at Livermore, folks, for the Bottom of the fifth inning.
Off in the bottom of the fifth inning for Florida, number 12, Jack Savory.
Jack Savory's going to lead it off for Florida in a back-and-forth affair here at Max Bear Park in the opening game of the United States bracket. Game 3 of 4 today. Our fourth game, which is going to come up after the conclusion of this game, will put our District 57 host team up against the East Regional champions from Freehold, New Jersey. Freehold Township, New Jersey. That should be a good game. First pitch is grounded to short. Quick throw to first, and just like the last inning for Florida, one pitch, one out.
And now pitching on the for Hawaii is Makoni Honokaupu.
Now batting for Florida, number 1, Billy Reed.
So Billy Reed's coming to the plate for his first plate appearance of the day. Another great play by the infield of Hawaii, and that's the second out of the inning.
These are the types of plays we've become accustomed to seeing Hawaii make. Very nice play by the third baseman. If he doesn't get to that ball, the batter's going to beat that ground ball out.
So we're going to have another substitution here for Team Florida. Coming into bat for Raul Feliz is going to be number 5, Britt Castora.
Batting number 5, Britt Castora.
First pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Hanakaupu paints the outside corner again, and the count is now 0-2. It's a ball on the outside corner, off-speed pitch. That misses outside on the fastball, and the count is now 2-2 to Britt Castora. Lifted foul to the left side, just out of play. So Hawaii has used 4 pitchers in this game. Florida has used 2. And coming into this game, I would have thought the Florida team would have used more pitchers. But it's worked. That's lifted into left field for a base hit. What a great piece of hitting by Castora. 2 strikes, just went with the pitch and served it out to left field. So that's a great hit for him. He's going to bring to the plate. Is it Max Joy? Yep, Max Joy's coming back up.
Now batting number 13, Max Joy.
Joy has struck out in both plate appearances today, once looking and once swinging. So he's looking for his first hit in the World Series. See if Florida might have Castora on the move to try to steal a base and get to scoring position with 2 outs.
He's getting a nice lead at first, but the pitcher is using the slide step to get that ball to the plate as quickly as he can to negate a potential stolen base.
Yeah, he is getting a good lead at first. He holds a ground ball into the hole at the short. Long throw to first base, got him. Great defense by Hawaii all the way around in that inning. Florida gets 1 hit, no runs. And as we have played 5 complete innings, Hawaii's leading 6-5. Back in a minute.
I clean, yeah, I know. I clean.
Back in Livermore, Max Bear Park for the top of the 6th inning with Hawaii leading 6-5 over Florida.
And Rick, that last inning, Hawaii showed the defense that we've come to know over the last several years here in Livermore.
Absolutely. So leading off for Hawaii is going to be number 8, Zachary Pasquale. Pasquale scored on an error by the second baseman back in the 4th inning.
The North Palm Beach coaching staff must believe they're fairly deep in pitching. They've got a very good pitcher on the mound now, and he's now at a point where he'll have to take a 4-day break before his next pitching assignment.
Well, he has done a great job, so they're going to ride him, it looks like. So count is now 1-2 to Pasquale. Flowers, if you've noticed, has started to elevate his fastballs. I wasn't seeing a lot of that early, and he's now featuring that quite a bit, and that's just, like you were saying last inning, it's just so tough to catch up to. Just shot right back up the middle, almost hit him, and gets through into center field for a base hit. So Pasquale reaches on a single.
Flowers didn't even have time to react to that. It was by him.
Now we have number 6 coming up for the first time in the game. Kamanu Vahikiti Kahai Alahi. So this is his first plate appearance of the World Series. Kamanu bunts back to the pitcher, and he throws him out. So that's a good sacrifice for him.
Flowers may have had a play at second base, but he made the good decision to get an out, make that sure out at first base rather than potentially have runners at first and second and nobody out, especially when he's trailing by a run this late in the game.
Number 17, Leone Painter.
That brings Keone Painter to the plate. Painter has singled and struck out twice with an RBI today. Another RBI opportunity for him, sitting at second base. He fakes a bunt, ball gets by the catcher, and there's another free 70 feet for Hawaii.
That's a huge play right there. Now the North Palm Beach infield has to come in and play infield in. You've got your leadoff batter up. This usually adds 250 or 300 points to your batting average, being able to bat with the infield playing this shallow. But North Palm Beach must cut off this run.
Another elevated fastball from Flowers, and that is swung on and missed by Painter. Flowers is going to have to really dig deep here now. He knows he can't afford to give up many more runs to these guys, if any. It's fouled off to the left side. Now he's ahead 1-2.
Let's look for that elevated fastball again.
Yeah, Flowers is looking for the big strikeout right here. Good idea. Elevated a little much. Flowers is impressive. He's really a pitcher out there. He's not just a hard thrower. It looks like he's got a real good plan. It's fouled off at the plate.
See, he's going up and he's going down. He's going up, he's going down. He's changing the line of sight of the batter to look for a high pitch and then a low pitch. And that's really good pitching.
Haven't seen him drop down and throw that sidearm fastball in an inning or two. Not sure he'd want to feature that right now to a left-handed batter. I think that's more of an effective pitch when you have a right-handed batter, but we'll see. Great job. Struck him out. Beautiful pitching.
Very clutch. Very nice job. Now Flowers can focus only on the batter and not really be concerned about the runner at third base. Actually, he's going to go for the windup rather than the stretch with this batter.
It's going to bring up Makani Hanakaupu. Hanakaupu has struck out twice today, reached on a error. Quickly, Flowers gets ahead of him 0-2. So Flowers is actually just one pitch away from getting out of this.
This is a huge at-bat in this game. Watch for the elevated fastball again.
And the 0-2 pitch on his way, fouled off to the left side, out of play.
As push is coming to shove, Flowers is relying solely on the fastball and locating it at different spots. We haven't seen an off-speed pitch in quite a while.
The 0-2 pitch on his way. Ball misses outside. Great pitch on 0-2. Flowers is now up to 80 pitches. Ground ball to second. Goes to first. Another error by the second baseman. And a run scores, that makes it 7-5.
You know, Rick, you got to give Flowers a lot of credit. He's had a couple 3 mistakes made behind him on the infield. He's not said anything to his teammates. He's just gone back to the mound to do his job. A real sign of maturity on this young man's part.
So Florida has played defense fairly well for the most part, except at second base. Second base has let them down today. There's been a couple of different players out there. It's not always been the same guy, but nevertheless, there's been 3 errors that have occurred at the second base position, and in two of those situations, they were 2-out errors that scored a run. So they've hurt. It looks like we have a pitching change now for Florida. Looks like Billy Reed is going to come in and pitch.
You know, Rick, all 3 of those ground balls you referred to were routine ground balls that should have been played. Actually, looking back, trying to think back to all 3, I think the second baseman in all 3 situations sort of laid back and didn't really charge the ball. The balls weren't hit that hard. This is a fairly thick infield grass, and it slows the ground ball down quite a bit. And they've been more aggressive on their play at second base. They may have made 1, 2, or even all 3 of those plays.
Yeah, and it wasn't like they bobbled the ball or, you know, it ate them up. It was just, by what you're saying, not coming in and charging the ball, it just gives you no time to get the runner, and all of a sudden you start to panic and scramble that you've got to come up with it so quickly, make the exchange, and get the throw over to first that it ends up just kind of eating them up.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm wondering if those were all fielded cleanly, which of any of those 3 would have been base hits anyway. Maybe all 3, because the infielders were slow, in my mind, slower to get to the ball than they should have been.
Right. But nevertheless, Florida's only down by 2 runs at this point. It's they've got, 6 more outs to try to come up with at least 2 runs and then tie this game up. So it's not all lost for them. There was quite a delay in this game getting off today. Kids were sitting around in the hot sun. I could sort of see the effects of that from both teams. They've come out a little uncharacteristic, I'm going to imagine, and it's going to be interesting to see who can pull this one out. But anyways, we got a new pitcher coming up.
You know, Rick, it might be interesting watching Billy Reed warm up. I think I saw a couple knuckleballs snuck in there during his warm up pitches.
All right. And that's going to bring up Bahiva Aloy. Aloy has walked and grounded out to shortstop in his 2 plate appearances today. First pitch from Reed. Hanakupu steals second base, so now we have a runner at second base with 2 outs for Hawaii. Billy Reed needs to just at least give him a quick look. Ball's hit to right field. It should be routine for the right fielder. He comes in and does make the catch for the 3rd out. So Hawaii does end up scoring a run. And as we go into the bottom of the 6th inning, Hawaii leads Florida 7-5. We'll be back in a minute.
Number 1 coming back in. Yes, ma'am.
Back in Livermore for the bottom of the 6th inning, in a game that Hawaii is leading 7-5. Leading off for Florida will be number 9, Joey Urban. Urban has a base hit, an RBI, and is flied out to right field. It's a ball hit deep to center field, caught by the center fielder up against the wall, so Urban gave it a ride, but flies out to center for the first out. Coming to the plate is number 2, Josh Hogue.
Yeah, our fences here are 255 feet circumferential, and that one went about 250 feet.
Swung and fouled at the plate. Count is 1-1 to Josh Hogue.
You see it a lot of times when pitchers try to throw off-speed pitches. They do it by slowing their arm down. And a lot of times what happens is the ball will sail, as we just saw in that last pitch.
That's right. That ball's fouled off. The count is even at 2-2 now.
You'll see the best pitchers, their arm speed, their delivery point, everything is exactly the same on every pitch. The only thing that changes the velocity is the grip.
It's grounded up the middle to the pitcher, who underhands over to first base. That's the second out of the inning. It's going to bring to the plate Drake Flowers. Flowers is grounded out to second, doubled and scored, and walked in the 4th inning. You look at this kid, Ed, this Drake Flowers, and he's just prototypical ball player, isn't he?
Absolutely. He is, he's been played shortstop pitch. He's leading off. He looks like the real deal.
He's got great size for him at 13. Another ground ball to shortstop. It's going to be a tough play for the shortstop. No chance.
And he's pretty fast, too.
Flowers has wheels, so that's he beats out an infield hit. Keeps the inning alive for Florida. Brings a tying run to the plate. And Nicky Espinosa.
It'll be interesting to see with 2 outs and needing to get a run whether or not the coaching staff for North Palm Beach will send Flowers to try to get him into scoring position. I would think they would.
Well, if you're going to do that with 2 outs, you better make it.
Well, the third base coach is giving signs for something. We'll see what he's relaying to the base runner and the batter.
He's giving the sign to advance on a pass ball. Perhaps.
That used to be one of my favorite signs.
I think there's been more pass balls than runs scored today by both teams.
That's very possible.
Pass balls, wild pitches, some combination of the two. There's been quite a few of them, and many a run have scored as the result of them today.
I think both coaching staffs are going to have a little sit down with their teams after the game to say, listen, regardless if we've won or lost, we need to tighten up and play much better on our defense in order to move forward in this tournament, because other teams will be playing better and they will have tightened up their game. And to get to next Saturday's U.S. Championship game, you've got to play very good baseball every game.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. You know, if you're going to have a little bit of a slip up, you want to do it in the first game. Because later on down in the week, you can't afford to have another one, or you're going to be watching.
The Flowers' lead at first base on that pitch was not very aggressive, but I think I heard the first base coach call out go. So let's see what happens on this pitch.
He's getting a pretty better lead there.
Not surprisingly, the pitcher heard the first base coach as I did and tried to pick him off.
There's a ball inside, so the count's 1-1. Nicky Espinosa. There he goes. Ground ball to second base. He goes off the glove and off the heel. That ball was off the end of the bat and was spinning towards the second baseman, and took a bad hop, hit off his glove, then his heel, bounced towards center field, and Flowers is able to advance to third base. So a terrific break for Florida. They have now runners at first and third with 2 outs. And Jordan Eggenberger is coming back in to hit.
And I think that North Palm Beach is looking to see if they can get another runner at first base in this 2-out situation.
Well, if they haven't run for Espinosa before already in this game, they can do that. And they are indeed bringing in number 10, Ryan Federero. So he'll be the special pinch runner at first base. Eggenberger's coming up.
Little surprised Hawaii didn't go out and talk to their pitcher just to say, listen, focus on the batter. We've got 2 outs. Don't worry about the runner at first or the runner at third.
There's a strike called on the inside corner. Count is 0-1.
But then again, North Palm Beach has a number 3 batter up right now, and you don't want to run yourself out of a rally with your number 3 batter at the plate. Federero looked like he was leaning to go.
There he does go. He's down to throw to second base. They're going to try to throw him out. Ball sails. Run scores from third. Florida has creeped within 1 run. Just
again, Rick, very uncharacteristic of teams from Maui to have this type of mistake happen, especially late in the game. Now North Palm Beach just needs a base hit to tie it up.
right. Yeah, I was surprised by a couple of things there. I was surprised they were trying to worry about the runner at first as much as they were, and then when he stole, I was surprised that they even threw the ball down. And the fact that the ball, I mean, if you don't throw that guy out, the runner from third just walks in, and that's just what happened.
Yeah, you'd think that would be a wonderful situation for the good old fake throw to second base and turn and look at third. You might catch the guy at third base creeping off and be able to pick him off, but with 2 outs and runners on the bases, all you need to do, I've said it over and over again now, and my apologies for being redundant, focus on the batter. If you get the batter out, the runners will not score.
So now that puts us in a situation where Hawaii is now ahead by only 1 run. Florida has a runner at second base with 2 outs. Eggenberger's still at the plate. That's a strike. And the count is 1-2. And Hanakopu is 1 pitch away from getting out of this. Swung on and missed. The ball gets by him. And Eggenberger is going to reach first base. So that keeps the inning alive. So now Florida's got runners at first and third with 2 outs.
The pitcher's calling over to his coach. Not sure what the situation is. First and foremost, we hope there's not an injury involved. Maybe he's just discussing the first and third situation and not wanting the catcher to throw down to second base again.
I wonder if they're going to assume that that was a visit to the mound. Would you call that a visit to the mound?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's any visit to defense, even if you talk to the second baseman, is a trip to the mound, or the catcher. It constitutes a trip to the mound.
So that brings to the plate Jake Savory with a chance to tie at this game with a hit.
And in intermediate baseball, a coach can go to the mound twice an inning, and on the third trip needs to take his pitcher out, and can go to the mound 3 times in a game, and on the 4th trip must take the pitcher out.
And now Savory's ahead in the count, 2-0.
And Eggenberger's getting a very, very short lead at first base, so he's no threat to steal second.
Well, he was the one that was picked off early in the game, if you recall. So now the count's 3-0, and so Hanakopu is struggling a little bit.
Question here is, you've got one of your better hitters up. Do you let him swing 3-0 at this point, or do you have him take?
I'd let him swing, personally.
No need to swing on that pitch.
So now Florida has loaded the bases with 2 outs. And that's going to bring to the plate Jack Bello. Bello singled and drove in a run in the 3rd inning.
See, Rick, these types of games and tournaments, the mistakes made by the defense not only cost your team base runners and potentially runs, but it costs your pitcher a lot of pitches. The pitcher should have been out of this inning about 10 pitches ago. And pitch count in this tournament this week is critical.
Yeah, I totally agree. Jake Flowers would agree with you. The pitcher for Florida as well.
He sure would.
So it looks like we're going to have a special pinch runner for Eggenberger at second base. Looks like that's going to be Billy Reed again.
Now running to second base, number 1, Billy Reed. Batting, number 8, Jack Bello.
So Jack Bello steps up to the plate with an opportunity to not only tie the game, but put his team ahead. Bases are loaded with 2 outs, and they trail by 1 run. That's a ball high and outside. The count is 1-0.
And the runner at third base is getting a good secondary lead. He's looking at the trajectory of the ball, looking for anything that might be going into the dirt to see if he can come and score on a wild pitch or pass ball.
It's a ball down and away, and the count is 2-0. So now Hanakopu is reaching a point where he's going to have to serve one in there in a sec. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Ball misses, and now it's 3-0.
And Rick, he let up on that pitch, wanting just to throw the ball down the middle, and as he let up, he slowed his arm down, and the ball sailed high.
Ball 4. And now we have a tie ball game, folks.
He did the same thing. 2 pitches in a row. He slowed his arm action down, and the ball sailed high. It's a good lesson for young pitchers. Your arm speed should be the same every single pitch. Don't change things based on situations.
It's going to bring to the plate Raul Feliz. Feliz was hit by a pitch in the second inning and scored. We may have a pitching change here. Yes, we do. The Team Hawaii will bring in their shortstop to try to turn off the faucet here. Wahiva Oloy is going to come in and pitch now. So we'll be back in a second here at Livermore. Back in Livermore with the new pitcher, Aloy, in for Hawaii. Raul Feliz is at the plate. The first pitch is a ball, so it's 1-0. The bases are loaded. There's a called strike, and it counts 1-1. So there's 2 outs in this inning. And Hawaii is looking to end this threat. The ball outside is 2-1. Excuse me, that was called a strike. It's 1-2. The ball's fouled off, so it remains 1-2.
And Feliz should learn from that second called strike that he needs to crowd the plate. The pitcher's going to go for the outside corner, and the umpire is showing that he is calling that outside corner a strike.
That's a ball. The count is now 2-2. Ball 3 outside. The count is now full with 2 outs. The runners will be able to get a jump.
Biggest pitch of the game, Rick.
Ball 4. And so Florida has taken the lead on 3 consecutive walks.
Interesting that they would throw a brand new pitcher out there and on a 3-2 count throw a curveball. Not an easy situation for a young pitcher to be in.
So Max Joy's stepping up to the plate. Max is 0 for 3 in this game, looking for his first hit.
And even though Max Joy is 0 for 3 at this point, he could be a hero for his team with a nice line drive base hit right here.
Swung on and missed. And that's the inning. So Florida comes up with 3 runs and take the lead 8-7 going into the top of the 7th inning. We'll be back in a minute from Livermore.
After 6 full innings, score is Hawaii 7, Florida 8. Leading off the top of the 7th inning for Hawaii, number 22, Matthew Day.
All right, we've reached the top of the 7th inning out here at Max Bear Park in Livermore. North Palm Beach is leading Hawaii 8-7, and leading off is Matthew Dene for Hawaii.
And boy, wouldn't the Hawaiian fans love to see him get a hold of one right now.
He singled in his first at bat. Billy Reed paints the outside corner for a strike, and the count is 0-2. Dene says, throw that pitch again. Reed comes inside, it misses, and the count is 1-2 now. Dene has to be an imposing figure at the plate, especially for Billy Reed, who's quite small in stature. But he's ahead of him 1-2 here. Paints the outside corner, strike 3. And Dene goes down looking.
He threw him 2 backdoor curveballs for a strike 2 and strike 3, and Dene walks away with his bat on the shoulder. Great job of pitching.
Brings to the plate Dylan Kokobun. Kokobun has doubled and singled in this game. He is the only player that's got 2 hits in this. Ground ball through the hole into right field for a base hit, and Hawaii has the tying run at the plate.
And Rick, I'm not sure if the first baseman had feel of that ball, if they would have been able to make the play, because the pitcher was slow to react to the play and was not over to cover first base.
So Kokobun gets his 3rd hit of the game, a sharp single to right field.
Number 7, Dylan Waite.
Look for him to steal.
And now Dylan Waite is coming up to the plate.
I believe Kokobun's stolen once, if not twice already, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So 1 run down, 1 out. I'd look for him to be going.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. He may be at third base before you know it. Waite squares the bunt. Takes the first pitch for a strike. So the count is 0-1.
Interesting selection here to bunt with the runner at first and 1 out. Usually a bunt that he looked like he was trying to do is a sacrifice, which means you're trying to make an out to move your base runner up.
With 1 out already on the board, that's it's an iffy proposition. But he might have just been trying to bring the third baseman in. We'll see if he starts swinging away here, Dylan Waite. As White keeps checking on Kokobun at first base. There he does lay the bunt down. That's a good one. They're not going to get him. Yes, they did. My mistake. That was a great bunt, but the third baseman just made a great play. He was on that like a cat. So anyways, sacrifice works. And Kelton Tom represents the last chance for Hawaii. There's now 2 outs with a runner at second base.
Interesting choice of strategies there, Rick. I'm not sure I'll follow their logic to give up an out to move a base runner up 70 feet. Well, especially since he had stolen already earlier in the game.
And especially since you only had 2 of them left. Out. Now he goes to third. Here comes the throw. Safe. Got under the tag.
Now that's a gutsy play. There's the ball game right there. And if the tag had been made, the game would have been over. So why he tried to steal third but not second, we'd have to ask the coaching staff.
Well, so now we got a runner at third base, however, where anything could happen. We've seen numerous runners come home on pass balls and wild pitches, and it's possible that something like that could occur again. Count is 1-0. Swing and a miss by Tom.
And that runner at third base is looking for any pitch in the dirt to try to get a good secondary lead and maybe tie the game up on a wild pitch or pass ball.
Swing and a miss for the second strike, and Hawaii now is down to their last strike. Billy Reed's come in, Ed, and done a pretty good job in this game so far.
Absolutely. His velocity is a little bit less than the others, and it's tough sometimes to slow those bats down to that slower velocity on a relief pitcher.
Well,
that pitch was close.
It was very close. We saw the same thing from Hawaii's Kokobun earlier as well when they brought him in and he served up a lot of off-speed pitches. Billy Reed is a similar type of approach here. So the count is now 2-2 with 2 outs. That ball's hit up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. We got a tie ball game.
How fitting.
Absolutely.
Wow. What a great piece of hitting. Very, very nice. After looking not very comfortable at the plate on his second strike, he hits a nice little ground ball right up the middle. Folks, we are tied 8-8. This is an incredibly good game.
Indeed it is. And so time is called by the Florida manager. He's going to talk to his pitcher. Doesn't look like he's going to take him out. That's going to bring to the plate number 21, Andrew Teruya.
I think it was just a quick visit to say, hey, I believe in you. You're doing fine. Those ground balls happen. Don't worry about it. Let's get this next batter. We're going to come in and get a run and win this game.
First pitch to Teruya is a ball. The count is 1-0. Andrew struck out in his only plate appearance in the second inning today. Colton Tom is giving the impression that he looks like he wants to steal. And why wouldn't you, right? That ball's fouled off to the left side, so the count is 1-1.
You know, Rick, if nothing else, he's taking the pitcher's attention off the batter and onto him at first base. And sometimes when that happens, the pitchers will hurry a pitch and put it right down the middle. And a big advantage to the batter to try to get himself a base hit.
Yeah, I was going to mention that I thought that the pitch that Reed threw to Tom that he hit for the base hit was definitely not in the location he was looking for. It's a pitch out. I think Billy Reed makes his living on the corners of the plate. And the ball that Tom hit up the middle was just a little bit too good of a pitch. So here's the 2-1. That ball curves in there for a strike. And the count is now 2-2.
But that's a really nice pitch. It comes in looking like a high outside fastball, and it breaks just in the last maybe 10 feet. It comes right over the plate, and left-handers are standing there watching it.
Ball's hit into left field. That's going to be a hit. That's going to get by. Left fielder cuts it off. He's going to try to score from first base. Here comes the throw. Hawaii takes the lead. Colton Tom scores all the way from first base on a double by Andrew Turea. The ball was hit, sliced down the left field line. The left fielder for Florida was shading over towards center field, so he had a long way to go. And by the time he was able to corral the pitch, Colton Tom with his great speed was able to score all the way from first base.
You just can't keep the teams from Hawaii down. They will fight and fight and fight and fight. They are an aggressive group. The coaches are aggressive. They caught the left fielder playing a little deep, and the ball as it hit, because the outfield grass is very thick and lush, pretty much died. And it enabled the runner to score and bring Hawaii now from being behind and down to their last strike. They're now ahead by a run.
Well, that was never more evident than in the championship of the Western Regionals, where they were trailing 6-3 to Sacramento in their last inning and proceeded to score 18 runs in the top of the seventh inning and won that game 21-10 just last week. So anyways, now they're ahead 9-8. It's a runner at second base. And Donnell Daniels, who got this whole thing rolling for Hawaii back in the second inning with a 2-run single, is up at the plate. He singled, drove in those 2 runs, and had 2 sacrifices since then. Ball hits a straightaway center field. That's going to get over the head of the center fielder. That's going to bounce up against the wall. Another run is going to score. He's going for 3. He's going to make it standing up. So Daniels has singled, driven in 2 runs in the first inning. He triples in the 7th inning and drives in another one. And Hawaii is now up 10-8.
There's a bit of a late read by the center fielder on that ball. It was definitely catchable, but I think it caught him by surprise on how hard it was hit. A lot of times the balls don't have to be hit that hard, but if they're hit right in the sweet spot, they will sail. And that's what happened on that play.
Now we got a break in the action. It looks like coach from Florida is going to make a pitching change. We'll be back in a minute to go over that. Thanks. Back at Max Bear in Livermore, where Florida has made a pitching change. Number 10, Ryan Fotorero's in now to try to close out this inning, stop the bleeding. Hawaii has a runner at third base now with 2 outs, and they are leading 10-8. Ground ball, base hit to left field. That's going to score another run. And Hawaii is beginning to pour it on. That was Keone Painter with a base hit, RBI.
When it rains, it pours. Teams will pick up on each other, and now all the Hawaii batters are extremely confident as they walk to the plate.
Hanakupu up to the plate. Painter steals second base.
You can see the frustration on the Florida team. The heads are down a little bit, trying to get this last out so they can come up and see if they can get right back in this ball game.
The pitch misses outside, 2-1 now. Oh, it's got to be demoralizing. You know, you played your heart out the whole game, and see it sort of slip away at the very end. When you have a lead, all you need is 3 outs and you've got a victory. It's tough.
And some teams literally coming into this tournament have never been behind. I'm not saying that about the Florida team. And they find it difficult when they get in that situation, being behind, how to react, especially late in a baseball game.
Ball catches the outside corner for a strike, and it's now 2-2. Foul tip. So once again, Florida finds themselves 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning for it seems like about the 3rd time.
And Rick, as I said before, the pitcher's very concerned about the runner at second base, but there are 2 outs.
And the runner steals third base. So the count is full. Ball 4.
And the frustration shown by the pitcher snapping at the ball and kicking the dirt on the mound. It's difficult to not be emotional at this point in time with the game turning as it has. but they've got to dig deep because they still have 3 outs coming of their own.
That brings to the plate number 11, Wahiva Aloy. Well, Aloy steps in with runners at first and third with 2 outs. Pretty sure the runner at first is going to run to second. He does. No throw, and so now it's second and third. Now Forterero really has to focus on the batter. It's a good pitch right there. It's fouled off to the right side and out of play. Count is 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch on its way. Missed inside. That's ball 2. That's also fouled off to the right side. Swung on a miss. That's going to be strike 3, thrown down to first base, and that ends the inning. Hawaii scores 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning to take an 11-8 lead going into the bottom of the 7th. We'll be back in a minute from Max Baer.
6.5 innings of play. The score is Hawaii 11, Florida 8.
Two more.
Welcome back to Livermore, folks. We're reached the bottom of the 7th inning in a back and forth affair between Hawaii and Florida. So Florida's down to their last 3 outs, and leading off for them will be Joey Urban. Urban singled with an RBI in the first inning. He has flied out to right field and center field since.
You know, Rick, in this situation, it's usually wise for the batters to take a strike. They need a couple base runners on base before they can start thinking about swinging at the first pitch.
Line drive to center field. That's caught. But the center fielder for Hawaii, great play defensively, and that's the first out of the inning. Urban lines out to center field. It's going to bring to the plate Josh Hogue, number 2.
Now batting, number 2, Josh Hogue.
At this point, the Hawaii coaches, all they want their pitcher to do is just throw strikes with a 3-run lead and 1 out in the last inning. And sometimes knowing that's all you need to do makes it that much more difficult for a young pitcher.
Indeed. The count is now 2-0 to Josh Hogue. There's a strike. Count 2-1. That's a good pitch right there. Paints the outside corner for a strike, and it's now 2-2. Davin Lewis is in the game now, pitching for Hawaii. He's done a great job so far. Ball's lifted down the left field line. Foul. Out of play. Ball's chopped at the plate.
That was a real nice pitch and a real good save on that foul ball. By Josh Hogue.
The ball misses inside. Now the count is full at 3-2. And Hogue is doing exactly as you mentioned, Ed. His job is to try to get on in any form or fashion. And the 3-2 on its way. Ball 4. So Hogue does his job. Gives a bit of life to the Florida team. Brings up the top of the order. It's always a good thing in that for their sake.
Yeah, the Hawaii coaches are probably grinding their teeth a little bit since I think the second time around in a row that their pitchers have walked the bottom of the order for North Palm Beach. North Palm Beach's goal at this point, in my mind, would be to get the tying run to the plate before they make another out. That way you've got the tying run to the plate with 2 outs to go, which would give them a decent opportunity to try to get right back in this game, if not win the game.
Well, they got the right guys up. Drake Flowers is now up. He's been on base 3 times today. He's had a double, a single, he's walked, he's scored 2 runs. He is the one major threat in this Florida lineup, in my opinion. First pitch gets away from the catcher, and Hogue scoots down to second base, so now he's at second base with 1 out.
And if you're Hawaii, that runner at second base is the 9th run and you're ahead by 3, you're ahead 11-8. So that runner at second base really means nothing at this point.
That ball gets away. Now he's going to be at third base. And your thought still applies there, Ed? Still means nothing.
Absolutely.
In fact, he scores, it means nothing.
Absolutely. But Davin Lewis is having a difficult time finding the plate right now. I'd probably have my batter with the takes on, even though it's probably my best hitter.
it's 3-0. So everybody on the Florida side knows what they need to do. They need base runners.
I would think this may be Lewis's last batter if he loses him.
Which he did. And Hogue did the smart thing by not coming down and trying to take that.
Absolutely.
There's no reason for that.
His run and Flowers' run, they mean nothing. Their run's number 9 and 10. They need run number 11, and here he comes to the plate. So they've met their first goal, which is to have the tying run to the plate with less than 2 outs. Let's see if they can capitalize on it. I'm a bit surprised the Hawaii coaches haven't come out to either talk to their pitcher again or maybe to make a change. But not knowing much about the Hawaii pitching staff, this may be their last pitcher they have for this game.
So Nicky Espinosa is coming to the plate now, and he's got the opportunity to be a hero. He could tie this game with one swing of the bat, but more realistically, he needs to get on base as well. Oh, now they've got Flowers picked off at first. And the ball gets away, and so Hogue scores. So now Florida creeps within 2 runs. Flowers is now at second base.
And Hawaii had the runner picked off first base on that fake to third, throw to first, but instead of looking at the runner, Lewis looked right to first and threw to first, and the runner was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, Flowers got a big jump, and he could move well for a big hit. And by the time the first baseman was able to throw down to second base, Flowers was already at the bag, and the ball got away from the shortstop who was covering, and Hogue from third was able to score.
And again, another uncharacteristic mistake by the Hawaii team.
Well, the issue at point being with first and third, why even be concerned with the runners? You know, it may not kill him in this game, but boy, there's been a lot of that going on by both sides. Swing and a miss by Espinosa. Took a big cut there.
He was trying to tie the game on that swing.
So again, the situation is Florida is down by 2 runs. They have a runner at second in Drake Flowers with 1 out, and Espinosa at the plate with a 1-1 count. Ground ball to third base. Oh, great play by the shortstop. He makes the throw. That was big time right there.
That was an absolutely excellent play. He not only had a high hop coming at him, but he had the base runner right in front of him as the ball was coming to him. So that was an outstanding play, possibly a game-saving play right there by the shortstop.
So now there's 2 outs. Flowers advances to third on the play.
Number 16, Jordan Eggenberger.
And Jordan Eggenberger's up to the plate, representing the last hope for North Palm Beach. Lewis out of the windup now. Ground ball to first base. This should end the game. That's it. It's over.
What a terrific pitch.
Hit it off the inside of his hands and dribbled it down to first base, and that's going to end the ball game. And what a game that was. Final score, Hawaii 9. Hawaii 11, Florida 9. Ed, really enjoyed it?
Absolutely, Rick. This was a terrific game. I think we're going to see better play by both of these teams as the week moves on, but I think you're looking at 2 very good baseball teams right here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, they both travel a long way, and you're right. I believe that they will pick up their games a little bit, and I got to believe one of these teams is going to be, if not in the championship, they're going to be close to it. So anyways, you and I will do another couple of games as the week goes on. I do appreciate that. I want to thank Kamlesh Patel for the production. Norm Fuller for on the PA today. And Ed, you're going to move over to the PA for this next game, are you not?
I'm going to use my voice even more and more tonight, Rick. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to
I'm
it.
going to come back and do the next game with another close friend of mine, Mark Spiller. And that game's going to probably start in about 45 minutes to an hour. So we'll be back in a little bit. In the meantime, you can enjoy the music and watch the field crew at Max Bear Park in Livermore. Once again, the final, Hawaii 11, Florida 9. Thanks, everyone.